There's lots of debate, and there has been over time, about if and when and whether it's ever okay to make an analogy to Hitler and to Nazis. And the analogies often are not warranted. They don't make sense. They're not well calibrated to what we're looking at in the modern day. However, on Fox News a few days ago, Judge Jeanine Pirro went on a rant about Hispanic immigrants that is almost identical to the language that we saw from Nazis and other anti-Semites about Jews in the past. Listen to what Judge Jeanine Pirro had to say.
Being released at the border right now who've got COVID. Wait a minute. I listen to you. You listen to me. They've got COVID. They've got all kinds of diseases. They are being released into the United States. Now, you're not going to tell me that a governor is going to shut me down and not allow me to do my job and let in illegals because we've got a heart.
They have all sorts of diseases and they're being released the way you would release an animal into the wild. They're being released into the United States. This is typical Third Reich anti-Semitic rhetoric used to justify the genocide of Jews during World War II, replacing Jews with Hispanic immigrants in the story. It's the same language. I'm not saying Judge Jeanine is Hitler. I'm saying this language is the same. Now, you can even actually go back beyond World War II for this. If you go back to the Black Plague in England, it was blamed on Jews by anti-Semites. The blaming Jews for disease is a really old thing. But if you look at Third Reich propaganda specifically, the justification for the cleansing of the population was based on the idea of an alien race of Jews poisoning the culture, bringing disease, this exact type of thing we're seeing from Judge Jeanine. Now, again, as I mentioned last week, even this type of rhetoric, when you talk about coronavirus, is nonsense because the U.S. has a significantly higher per capita case rate than Mexico. There's no reason to think that COVID is coming from Mexico to the United States. We have way more of it here, but ignore that for now. This type of defiant sounding anger from Judge Jeanine was the same type of thing applied to Jews during Hitler's Germany. The dehumanization is present in so many genocides. You look at the Rwandan genocide as another example. I recently read a very good book about the Rwandan genocide by Philip Gurevich. Excellent, disturbing, but excellent book. The kernel of an idea that started the genocide. And there's a lot of colonial forces that sort of were involved in the creation of this idea. The idea was that the Hutus and the Tutsis were not only clearly distinct ethnic groups, but one was subhuman. One was dirty. One was unrefined and unsophisticated. And the Hutus decided that the Tutsis were inferior and they were off to the races with a disgusting genocide. As I mentioned in our segment about the Fox News focus on the border last week and will again this week during Jen Psaki's press briefings, this is what they've found as their new punching bag. Trump leaves and Biden comes in. The country has given Joe Biden the highest initial approval for a president in nearly 30 years. 70% want COVID relief. 80% agree with Joe Biden's federal mask mandate for transportation and federal offices. Vaccination has tripled since Joe Biden took over. The world is moving on from Trump, so they have cultural issues like Dr. Seuss and supposed cancel culture, and now they've fixated on the border, which shouldn't surprise us because this has been their playbook for a long time. Remember talking about a migrant caravan leading up to the 2018 midterms. The day after the 2018 election, we don't hear about a migrant caravan until October of 2020 when they need that again. And part of this is also strategic. Texas and Mississippi are opening wide open, even though health officials say it's too early to do that. They're getting rid of mask mandates. They're getting rid of everything. Ending that right now is likely to cause a surge. And they are preemptively on the attack against Hispanic immigrants to be able to blame them when the surge hits in places like Texas. Judge Jeanine obviously should be fired for this, but is Fox News going to fire her when the audience loves this stuff? Probably not. So I would expect Judge Jeanine, maybe she'll get a promotion and a raise for this rant, which even if you watch the video, she was alongside Geraldo there. Even Geraldo looked perplexed and sort of distraught to the extent that he's able to during that absolutely outrageous rant. One of our sponsors is Sussman and Hahn. Sussman and Hahn has everything you need when it comes to face masks and other supplies to stay safe during COVID-19. And Sussman and Hahn is the company that I've personally been going to for face masks and other PPE because I trust the products that they sell. And that's actually why we reached out to them about becoming a sponsor, because their prices are reasonable, ordering is simple, everything ships within 24 hours, and they just have high quality products for this global 100-year pandemic. They've got surgical masks, KN95 masks, N95 masks, other useful things like infrared thermometers, face shields, sanitizers. Sussman and Hahn is also an awesome company because they've donated over 65,000 masks so far to healthcare institutions. Shipping is free on orders over $150. You can go to their website by going to davidpakman.com/mask. The link is right underneath this video, and they'll give you 20% off when you use the coupon code DAVID.